Love is a lie. That's not just some bitter take. It's what one of the most brutally honest philosophers believed. Arthur Schopenhauer didn't think love was about soulmates or fairy tales. He believed love is just nature's trick, a powerful illusion designed to keep us reproducing, not happy. And once you hear his reasons, you might start to notice things in your own life you've never questioned before. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Schopenhauer thought love was dangerous, and how seeing through it can actually free you. Here's something weird. Schopenhauer believed love had nothing to do with happiness. In fact, he thought the more intense the love, the more likely it would lead to misery. He wrote, "Love is of all illusions the most false, and yet it is the most indispensable." In this video, we're breaking down Schopenhauer's cold but fascinating theory about love. Here's what you'll get: why your strongest feelings might not be about you at all, how nature uses love to control us, why Schopenhauer believed true love is impossible, two big ideas that can change how you date or even marry, and how to use this knowledge to stop being manipulated by your own emotions. This is the kind of truth that hurts, but it can wake you up. Let's talk about young Maya. She met someone on a trip. It felt intense, fireworks, passion, meant to be kind of stuff. They moved fast. She left her job, moved cities, cut off old friendships. Within months, they were living together. A year later, it was over. He didn't cheat. She didn't lie. They just fell apart. The love that once felt eternal disappeared like smoke, and Maya was left asking, what was that even about? If you've ever been in love, real love, you know how powerful it feels. It makes you reckless. You ignore red flags. You rewrite your plans. But Schopenhauer believed love feels so big because it's not about you at all. He wrote, "The ultimate aim of all love affairs is actually more important than all other ends in human life. It is the future generation." You think you're making a personal choice, but what if love is actually life using you? Let's break that down. Principle 1. Love is nature's bait. Schopenhauer didn't think love was about joy or connection. He believed it was instinct, disguised as romance. He said, "The feeling of love is a trick played on us by the species." Basically, when you fall in love, you're not picking the person who makes you happiest. You're picking the person whose genes best match yours for a strong, healthy baby. Think about it. The people we can't stop thinking about usually have traits we don't consciously understand. Facial symmetry, body structure, even voice tone. All tied to reproduction. Ever wonder why you sometimes feel obsessed with someone who's totally wrong for you? That's not romance. That's biology hijacking your brain. Schopenhauer wrote, "The will to live does not care about the happiness of the individual. It only wants to preserve the species." So we fall in love not because it's good for us, but because it helps life go on. Ever met someone who made you feel high? And then, a few months later, everything crashes? That's the bait. Nature used emotion to pull you into a bond. Once the mission's done or fails, the feeling fades. Next time you feel those big emotions rising, ask, is this about real connection or just chemistry? Sometimes the heart wants what's best, not for you, but for the species. Principle 2. The illusion of the one. We all want the one, right? The person who just gets us. But Schopenhauer thought that was another lie. He wrote, "The selection of the object of love is not left to our better judgment, but is carried out by the will of the species." That means you're not in control. You don't pick your ideal partner. You're drawn to the one who fits your biological blueprint, and that often leads to pain. People marry for love, thinking it'll last forever, but often the person we're drawn to intensely isn't someone we're actually compatible with long-term. According to Schopenhauer, this is by design. The stronger the attraction, the more likely it is rooted in reproduction, not happiness. Look at couples who rush into marriage with wild passion. The fire burns hot, but fast. Later, they find they have nothing in common, different values, different goals. But in the beginning, it felt like destiny. That's not a mistake. That's the will of the species doing its job. Feel the chemistry, but don't trust it completely. Ask, can this person walk with me long-term when the heat is gone? Sometimes the person who feels like the one is really the signal. But here's the thing. What if seeing through the illusion doesn't kill love, but makes it real? Coming up shortly, the next principle reveals why love might still be worth it, even if it's a lie. Principle 3. Love is selfish, but not your selfishness. You might be wondering, if love isn't for me, who is it really for? Schopenhauer would say, it's for something deeper than you, not your personality, not your goals, but your biological will. He wrote, the individual is only a means in the hands of the will of the species. Let that sit for a second. You feel like you're making choices, but Schopenhauer says the species is making them through you. You might want to stay single, or travel, or build your career, but then someone walks into your life and everything flips. You feel pulled. You stop thinking clearly, not because of love, but because nature is trying to keep itself going. Here's an example. Someone you know, maybe even you, has said, I know they're not good for me, but I can't walk away. That's not weakness. That's biology hijacking your decisions. And here's what makes it worse. We praise that feeling. We call it romance. We tell people to follow their heart when their heart might be working against them. Pause when you feel overwhelmed by attraction. Is this love? Or is it your biology trying to make a baby with someone your brain doesn't actually like? This doesn't mean love is fake, but it does mean you're not always in the driver's seat. Sometimes the you in love isn't really you at all. Principle 4. Love is a trap that ends in suffering. Now here comes the darkest part. Schopenhauer didn't just think love was a lie. He thought it was a trap, a beautiful one, but a trap all the same. He wrote, the madness of love is the greatest of heaven's blessings if it's returned. Otherwise, it's the worst of curses. And even when it's returned, it often ends in suffering anyway. Why? Because love is intense, and intensity burns out. Then what's left? A person you barely know, a life you didn't plan, maybe even a child you weren't ready for. Schopenhauer saw this pattern again and again. He said, the fate of the unborn generation is the hidden purpose of all love affairs. That means love pretends to be about you, but its real goal isn't happiness, it's continuity. Once that's secured or fails, love fades or turns into resentment. Ever noticed how some of the most passionate relationships end in silence or hate? That's not bad luck. That's part of the pattern. Here's a question worth asking. If love doesn't last, does that mean it was never real? Schopenhauer would say, it was real, but it had a different purpose, one we don't want to admit. This might sound cold, maybe even unfair. You might be thinking, isn't there any kind of love that isn't just a trick? Hold on to that thought, because what comes next might surprise you. Love begins in ecstasy, but it often ends in reality.